Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, we're in the studio. We are live, so get involved in the chat and the comments. Loads of Manchester United stories to get through. Obviously, it's been a bit of a deflating week, hasn't it? We had that result, well, the lack of a result away at Nottingham Forest, losing 1-0 to an Anthony Elanga goal, which just left everyone feeling a bit meh. But we've got the Manchester derby on the horizon, so we have to move forward. And as you would expect, there's some stories ahead of that. There's also some transfer stories, which we will be getting into as well. So if you're not doing so already, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Mick Holland, Colin Coupledish, Ash Cash K, Phil Berry, Notch, B. Robinson says happy Thursday. Loads of people in the chat here. Good to see you. Hit that like button, please, people. Smash a like, as the kids say. Let's talk about Scott Mctominay. We were chatting about him the other day. I think it was on the watch along. We had Ryan Hopper and Damani Mella and Adam Kohler on the watch along, and we were turn that down. We were talking about Scott Mctominay. He's gone to Napoli. He's doing really well. There's an article in the Athletic. The New York Times, The Athletic's all the same, innit? Rory Smith, who actually did a piece on our watch along not that long ago, he's done a bit of a article, or an interview, I should say, with Scott Mctominay. Scott Mctominay there, speaking about how he was sort of misprofiled, how he was moved out of his preferred position to a centre-back or a number 6. Obviously, for most of his career at Manchester United, he was used as a 6. He was used in that sort of McFred axis. It wasn't until later on, under Erik ten Hag, that Erik ten Hag started using him more of as a 10, as an attacking midfielder. What he's alluding to there is that's probably his game. That's more what he's suited to. I think the problem we had with Scott Mctominay was he's had a bit of a weird career on Scott Mctominay, because there's been some highlights. You look at the goal against Manchester City, some of the performances, the fact that he did play so many consecutive games, helped the club obviously finish third and then second, which is a good return. I mean, we'd kill for that right now, wouldn't we, to finish third or second? And he was a big part of that. But then there was always this feeling with Scott McTominay. Was there a ceiling there? Was he not quite at the level that you need if you are going to go that one step further and go from finishing third or even second to winning a title? Is he good enough? And I felt a bit sorry for him in some respect, because I think that he was always a player that tried and put a shift in and had certain good attributes. But then there is an element of, okay, do we have to be a bit more ruthless? Now, in hindsight, he's looking a bit silly, in it, letting him go, because United have gone backwards. We've lacked goals. He was getting goals last season. And I think one of the issues you had with Scott McTominay is he scored those goals against Brentford. You remember the 2 late goals to win the game against Brentford. And then he played a lot of games almost as a 10. And I remember watching United and the way we were setting up, and it felt like we were just almost setting up to feed the ball to Scott McTominay. It was like we were kind of, Erik ten Hag went on a mad one. It was like, right, let's just sort of build our team around him, which was excessive. I don't think that worked. And we had that sort of run, or he had that run, I think, where he played, I can't remember, it was about 11 consecutive games, and I think there was a Chelsea game where he got, again, I think he might have got a brace, but then he went a lot of games without scoring, and it felt like if he wasn't scoring, he wasn't offering much else, and that was the issue you had. But I was very, very impressed with him in his final game for Manchester United in the FA Cup final, where he was basically tasked with marking Rodri, and I thought he did a phenomenal job, and I thought he played his part in that trophy win, which is obviously a massive day for everyone, for Manchester United, a great day, and Scott McTominay was a big part of that. So he had a decent United career, and he's probably disappointed he didn't win a few more things, and probably disappointed that he didn't play in his preferred position for a bit longer. And you dare say he's a player that, had this been the glory era of Sir Alex Ferguson, maybe he could have been a squad player in a Sir Alex Ferguson side. Maybe he could have helped win your titles as a backup, or someone that came in as and when he was needed. But I just felt there was an element of, if he's a player that's starting every week, is he quite at that level? Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat. Notch says, I want Scott's views on Italian tomatoes. Dunkyo says, as if Eze is coming. He's not happy. Stupid headline. He's not happy with the headline. We'll be getting into that we'll in a minute. Dan Fenton says, Eze would be a good, or Eze I should say, would be a good signing, swap deal with Mount. We're going to talk about swap deals a little bit later on. We've spoke to Laurie Whitwell, who was chatting about swap deals. Akash K says, McTominay's a starter under Sir Alex, or a key player, I should say. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. If you look at the side that Sir Alex Ferguson's had, would Scott McTominay have started in those midfield? I don't know, I'm not 100% sure he would have done. I think Sir Alex Ferguson would have liked him, and I think he was a big fan of his, wasn't he? There was that, I think there was a quote or a footage of him talking to Jose Mourinho about Mctominay, saying you should play Mctominay more. I don't know if he would have started on Sir Alex, but he's been a decent player for Manchester United and obviously felt like he was misused. Let's talk about the Eze headline then, because this is from the Manchester Evening News. It says, one player that could improve Manchester United right now and hit the ground running is Crystal Palace's Eberechi Eze. The England international is one of the Premier League's best attacking midfielders, and according to reports, an offer could come soon. Now, the only problem with that, not the fact that we're putting an offer in, is Spanish outlet for Fijages or Fijages. I was speaking about them last night. They're a bit more miss than hit when it comes to hit and miss stories. Fijages, they've claimed that United are preparing a bid for the creative midfielder after being identified as a dream target for the summer. The report states that a bid worth 50 million could be on the table. Now, you have to sort of take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt, don't you, when it comes from Fijages? I know the Evening News are reporting it, but you have to look at where they've got it from and what the source is. Now, let's have a look at Eze and his sort of contributions this season, because he's done quite well. I think he's hit 2 goals and 6 assists in 25 games, which is decent return. It's not setting the world alight. The issue you've got there is he's 26 years old. So he's not a youngster. I know he's a young man, but he's not a youngster in football terms, is he? He's not someone who's just starting out in the Premier League. He's been around for a little while. Now, he has had England caps. He played the other day, didn't he? He's got 10 England caps. And again, he's having a decent spell, a decent season. Would he do well in a Manchester United side? He might do. He might actually fit into this Amorim system really well. Can United afford him, though? Can United afford to go out and spend that on a player that is decent but isn't someone who has that potential, I don't think anyway, to reach the very, very top? You can see the stats there. So it's 6 goals and 9 assists in 32 games. So it's just under a goal involvement every other game. Obviously, some of those goals, he's been quite productive in the Carabao. 4 goal involvements in 4 games. The FA Cup, similar. 3 goal involvements in 3 games. Premier League, not quite as productive, but not a bad return. I think you'd like to probably see him get a few more goals. 2 goals in 25 games isn't great, but he has got 6 assists. So he is a useful player. He's one of those where if United got him, you won't be like, oh my God, why have we bought him? I just don't think he should be a priority. And I don't think at 50 million quid, that makes any sense for United at the minute. That would make sense if United had a bit of a transfer kit. If we were in a position like we were a few seasons ago under Erik ten Hag, or not even a few seasons ago, I think last summer we spent quite a bit of dough. If United had like 200 million to spend, you think, okay, we can get a striker, we get a sort of a number 6 or number 8 midfielder, maybe we get a wing back. Is it worth going for someone like Eze, who's got Premier League experience, who can bring something to the side? Maybe it is. My only sort of worry with this idea at the minute is we've just got other priorities and we haven't got much money. Kieran Maguire was chatting on the Overlap. Adam McCall asked him a few questions and he was saying that United, basically we need Champions League football if we're going to have a decent amount of money to spend, and we don't have Champions League football, which is it's very likely. We've only got the Europa League as a way of getting into the Champions League next season. Then United might not have much money at all. We can always sell players. Marcus Rashford is a player that has been linked with a move away, obviously, to Aston Villa. He scored again last night for them. That's 3 goals, I think, in his last 2 games for Aston Villa. Plus, he's got a few assists as well. So he's doing quite well there. I've always said with Marcus Rashford, I don't think he's doing quite as well as some people have claimed. I think he's done all right since he's gone to Villa Park. But he now has started scoring because he hadn't been scoring for a little while. That's going to help his cause if he's going to get a permanent move. And I think that makes a lot of sense, him going to Aston Villa permanently. I spoke about this on Monday. You've also got Jadon Sancho that can go to Stamford Bridge permanently. Plus, look at someone like Anthony who's tearing up at Real Betis. Maybe there's a deal to be done for Alejandro Garnacho if he doesn't end up sticking around, which it's like that with Garnacho, isn't it? One minute it looks like he's going to stay, the next minute it doesn't. One minute fans are sort of keen to keep him, the next they're not. Didn't have a good game against Nottingham Forest. You shouldn't judge him off just one game, but it does feel like that momentum for Garnacho to be moved on has started again because people are looking at it going, well, he was rubbish at the City ground, dead greedy, just get rid of him. Let me know what you think. Do you think there is a pathway to United signing Eze? Do you think we need to look elsewhere? It is weird though, isn't it? Because you do have those 2 10s and you look at who we've got there at the minute. Ahmad probably plays there when he comes back, although you might use him as a wing back. Mason Mount, if he's fit, plays there, but he's never fit. Are we just kidding ourselves that he's going to have a long run in the side? I'm not sure. Garnacho, I've already spoken about. Xerxes, he's quite good in those roles, but he doesn't score. You need someone who's going to score goals, and Xerxes just doesn't do that. And I'm not saying a number 10 should get 30 goals a season, but he should be weighing in with at least double figures in the Premier League. And Joshua Xerxes doesn't quite have that in him, I don't think. Again, no, he might improve, he might get better, he might get more used to the Premier League. When you think about it, there probably is scope for United to sign another player in that number 10 role. It's not the strangest thing I've ever heard. I think the issue is just the amount of money or the lack of money we've got. Paul Gray saying Eze ain't a 10. I think he can play there. I think he can play in those number 10s. You look at where everyone plays now, and I think he covers that sort of space for Crystal Palace quite well when he's when he's playing for them. I don't think he'd have an issue fitting into one of those roles. Technically, most of the players we've got there ain't that type of player. You wouldn't say Garnacho is a 10. I don't even argue that Ahmad is a 10 either, but they can play in that role, and we're using him in that role. Xerxes apparently is a 9.5, but we're using him in that role. I think Eze is far more suited to that role than some of the players we've got there already, so I wouldn't be completely against it. I just think we have other priorities. And also Crystal Palace, we have done business with them before, and they basically got exactly what they wanted when it came to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They wanted 50 million. United said no. We haggled for 2 weeks in the end of the negotiations, if you can call it that. We gave them 50 million. So I wouldn't expect us to get a cut price deal. And I think that someone's suggesting there's swap deals on the horizon. I don't think you're going to be able to swap Mason Mount or anyone else for that. I think it was a bit tongue-in-cheek. But United, could we do a swap deal? Could we sell them someone who's going to go there, no disrespect, but who's going to leave Manchester United to go to Crystal Palace, even though they are doing better than us, I think, in the league? Not many. Charcha says he has 2 goals in the league this season. Kind of risky. Yep, I agree, it is kind of risky. Santa Notch says the 9 will affect how effective a 10 can be, and we need to look at that first for me. I agree. I think we should be looking at a 9 as a priority, but I also think I want to see United scouts and the hierarchy multitasking in the summer. I want to see us doing a bit like we did last summer, where we went, right, we need a striker. Yep, got that one. Next one, number 10 or wing back or centre back or central midfielder. I don't want it to be sort of, I want us to have these deals almost lined up one after the other. I feel like we have to move fast in the transfer window before other players start getting snapped up. Akash K says my urgent targets would be wing backs and a striker. Don't argue that too much. Can't argue that too much. I think we need wing backs and a striker. Greg says Gyökeres or Osimhen, pick one. I don't think Gyökeres is going to come to Manchester United. Dan Fenton says Mbeumo from Brentford, and the Gomez, he's on a free. And the Gomez, he's on a free, and we need these strikers sorted first before anything this summer. Get the players in, done, ready for pre-season. Donny Blackburn says, I reckon you could get Nkunku on loan with option to buy, and then we can look to spend money on a striker and a central midfielder. Mike Smith says, Eze bid lol, we are broke. So he's not having it. He says, we are broke. Should we talk about someone else? Who else have we got for here? But there's a title you want to see. There's a headline. Barcelona reject 42 million offer from Man United for a star who is delighting Flick. This has come from Football 365. There's a lot of inverted commas here. So first offer, and he's delighting Flick. Are any of these things happening? If you scroll down, we can see what the crux of this is. Sorry, maybe go up a little bit. Oh, no, sorry, go on. Ignore me, I didn't see the bit you'd highlighted. Reports in Spain claim that the Red Devils are making moves ahead of the window, of the transfer window, with news that they've made a first offer of 50 million euros for Barcelona defender Alejandro Balde. Are we having this one? Yeah, we can see here, after suffering from a number of injury woes, Balde is now back in the Barcelona starting 11 and playing an indispensable role for Hansi Flick's side. He's caught the attention of Man United, who are looking for a new owner of the left wing, despite signing Patrick Dorgu in January, and have their eyes on the La Masia Pearl. I mean, can you really see this happening? I can't. I know, there's reports in Spain, but who are these reports and what are they on about? I'd be amazed if we got him, to be honest with you. I can't see him leaving Barcelona. I can't see Manchester United in wanting to leave Barcelona to come to Manchester United. I know we're a big club, but let's be real here. And also, we have just bought in Dorgu, as that article says. So why are we going to sign someone else at left wing back? Yes, you can argue we need backups. Luke Shaw isn't really much of a backup. Tyrone Malacia's obviously got out on loan. I don't think he's got any future whatsoever at Manchester United. Harry Amas, maybe he could be a backup. I don't know. The manager doesn't seem to be overly keen on him. I know he's only a youngster, but he's not really giving him many minutes, has he? So maybe we do need a backup left back or another option at left back position or left wing back. But are we going to get someone who's played lots of games for Barcelona this season? He's played 26 games in the Liga for Barcelona. He's an integral part of their side. Is he going to come to Manchester United? I just don't see it happening. Let me know what you think. I'd be shocked if that happened, to be honest with you. It's just, I think that's nonsense. Let's talk about Jose Mourinho. We mentioned this last night. We've got a tweet here that we put out. I mean, he's just crazy, isn't he? Like, he is just nuts. He's always up to something. And the thing with Jose, right, I quite like Jose. He's a character. And I quite liked him for a spell when he was at United. Obviously, that first season where he won a couple of trophies, I got on with him quite well in press conferences. But he's nuts. He's off his head, isn't he, basically? And sometimes the craziness just gets too much. Like when he sort of started losing the plot at Manchester United. If you remember that, he was basically picking players seemingly to almost sabotage the team. He was making decisions like he wanted us to lose. That's how it felt to me anyway. Remember Stamford Bridge where Andy Marshall was tearing Chelsea apart and he took him off. I remember as well when he kept doing things like West Ham. I think he took Lindelof off and left on Scott McTominay in the centre of defence. Just weird moves that it felt like he was trying to prove a point. And I don't know what the point was. Well, I think the point was he was unhappy that the board hadn't backed him in the summer. He wanted Harry Maguire. He didn't get him. Then typical United, we didn't buy Harry Maguire for like 45, 50 million or whatever it would have been. We waited until the following summer or whatever it was and spent 80 million on him. So yeah, he's been at it in Turkey. You can see he grabbed the nose of the Galatasaray manager, Okan Buruk. And I don't think that's a playful little, oh, hi mate, you okay? Not that grabbing someone's nose is particularly playful. He's just having he's just being Jose and kicking off. Yeah. He's quite funny when he's not your manager, isn't he? Sean Litt says, what Diego Leon comes on in the summer as well. The thing with Leon, just going back slightly backwards about the left back position, Leon does come in the summer. I think what's going to happen, what's been suggested is that United are going to look at him in the summer on pre-season perhaps and make an assessment whether he's ready for first team or whether he's ready, he goes out on loan again. I think he's 17 at the minute. I think he might be 18 by the time he joins Manchester United. But he's one that United are sort of going to wait and see how ready he is. He might end up coming in and being mint and he's ready. So you put him in the first team straight away or you put him in the squad or you might look at it and go, let's maybe send him out on loan for another season or whatever, or another, maybe even till January. Makes a lot of sense. Santa Not says, imagine Ole, Erik ten Hag or Amorim doing this. You can't, can you? I can't imagine Ruben Amorim doing that to another manager. I can't imagine Ten Hag or Ole doing it. It's insane. Yeah, Phil Berry says, did you see him go down? He went down into the manager, the one that he did it to. He hit the deck like he'd been shot. I mean, a bit melodramatic, but to be fair, what is Jose doing grabbing people's noses? Akash K says, it's the charisma of Jose, LMAO. Yeah, it was... you could call it that. You could call it the charisma of Jose Mourinho, or you could call it the insanity of him, whichever you want to term it as. Take your pick. Adam Kenny says, it's a Turkish greeting. Yeah, that's what they do in Turkey. I've been to Turkey. When you say hello to someone, you grab the nose. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to be back later on with Laurie Whitwell for Inside United. So if you've not done so already, make sure you are subscribing to the channel. We'll be getting him to tell us a little bit about what's going on with Alejandro Garnacho, what's going on with Victor Osimhen. Could there be something happening there? How does he feel about Chido Obe, who obviously didn't feature in the Nottingham Forest game because he was away with the under 18 for that semi-final game at Villa Park. But what sort of future, what does the immediate future hold for Chido Obe at Manchester United? We'll be asking him all those questions, so make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. I'm Motty. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.